Hello universe! Hello classmates! This is the reporting of Group 6.
Kuya, ano po yung El Filibusterismo?
Ganito kasi yan. Ang El Filibusterismo ay isinulat ni Jose Rizal. Oo, tama niyong narinig. Si Dr. Jose Rizal ang sumulat sa El Filibusterismo na unang na-publish noong 1891 sa Ghent, Belgium. Pero alam niyo ba, ang El Filibusterismo at Noli Me Tangere ay isinulat ni Jose Rizal ito gamit ang lengguaheng Espanyol. Ang dalawang nobela ay naging parte ng Filipino propaganda movement. Ang El Filibusterismo at Noli Me Tangere ay kailangan nating basahin na kung saan ito ay naging subject o asignatura sa mga kolehiyo. Yun lang, nalpase!
Section 1. Author and Historical Context. Details about Jose Rizal's life and works. Jose Rizal was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Philippines, and was a patriot, physician, and writer who became an inspiration for the Philippine nationalist movement. He came from a wealthy family but faced discrimination due to his parents not being born in Spain. Rizal studied at Ateneo and University of Santo Tomas in Manila, before pursuing postgraduate studies at the University of Madrid in 1882. He also studied medicine at the University of Heidelberg in 1886. Rizal's notable works include Noli Me Tangere, The Social Cancer, 1887, and its sequel El Filibusterismo, The Reign of Greed, 1891. The novels exposed the abuses of Spanish colonial rule and Catholic Church in the Philippines. Rizal became a prominent figure in the propaganda movement, advocating for peaceful reforms such as representation in the Spanish courts, equality before the law, freedom of speech, and secularization of religious institutions. Despite his reformist stance, he was arrested for alleged sedition and executed on December 30, 1896. The political and social climate of the Philippines during the late 19th century. The Philippines in the late 19th century was under Spanish colonial rule, characterized by social inequality and political unrest. The elite class Principalia emerged as intermediaries between Spanish authorities and native Filipinos. However, widespread poverty persisted due to economic shifts and colonial policies. The opening of Philippine ports to global trade led to societal changes, including education reforms that expanded access to higher education. Liberal ideas influenced a new educated class, or ilustrados, who launched the propaganda movement to demand reforms. However, Spanish authorities suppressed these efforts, leading to divisions among reformists and revolutionaries by the 1890s. Revolutionary groups like the Katipunan emerged, advocating complete independence from Spain. The influence of Gamburza execution. The execution of Filipino priest Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, collectively known as Gambursa, on February 17, 1872, had a profound impact on Philippine society. Accused of masterminding the Cavite Mutiny against Spanish authorities, their deaths symbolize Spanish oppression and injustice. The Gomburza execution inspired a wave of nationalist sentiment among Filipinos and fueled the propaganda movement led by educated elites like Rizal. Rizal dedicated his novel El Filibusterismo to their memory, highlighting their martyrdom as a rallying point for reform and resistance against colonial abuses. Connection to Noli Me Tangere. Noli Me Tangere, published in 1887, is Rizal's first novel that exposed the social injustices under Spanish colonial rule. It criticized corruption within the Catholic Church and the government while portraying the struggles of ordinary Filipinos. The novel served as a powerful tool for awakening Filipino nationalism and inspired call for reform. Rizal's experiences with discrimination and his exposure to liberal ideas shaped his work. The influence of events like the Gomburza execution is evident in his writings, which sought to address systemic oppression while advocating peaceful change.
Filibusterismo and corruption. Jose Rizal's novel El Filibusterismo explores themes of revolution, oppression, and corruption in Spanish-colonized Philippines. One of its central themes is filibusterismo, which refers to subversion of resistance against an unjust system. So, ang nobela ni Jose Rizal na El Filibusterismo ay tumatalakay sa mga tema ng revolusyon, pang-aapi at korupsyon noong panahon ng pananakop ng mga Kastila sa Pilipinas. Isa sa mga pangunahing tema ay ang filibusterismo, na ang ibig sabihin is tumutukoy ito sa pagtutol o paglaban sa isang hindi makatarungang sistema. The concept of filibusterismo. The term filibusterismo comes from filibustero, which was used by Spanish authorities to label individuals who were considered rebels or threats to their rule. In El Filibusterismo, the protagonist Simon represents this idea as he seeks revenge and revolution against the corrupt colonial system. So, ang concept ng El Filibusterismo is tumutukoy ito sa ideya ng paghihimagsik laban sa mga mapang-aping pamahalaan. So, ang salitang filibustero ay ginagamit ito ng mga kolonyal na Espanyol upang tukuyin ang mga taong laban sa kanilang pamumuno. Ito yung mga rebeldeng gustong magbago o pabagsakin ang isang sistema. So, sa nobela ng El Filibusterismo ni Jose Rizal, ang mga pangunahing tauhan na Simon ay sumasagisag sa ideyang ito. Ipinapakita rin dito ang pagiging filibustero sa pamamagitan ng kanyang layuning manghiganti at mag-udyok ng revolusyon laban sa tiwaling pamahalaan ng mga Espanyol sa Pilipinas. And there are 3 examples of corruption in El Filibusterismo. Number 1 is corruption in the government. Number 2, corruption in the clergy. Number 3, corruption in business and social class. Analysis of the abuse of power. The abuse of power in El Filibusterismo is evident in the way authority figures exploit their positions for personal gain. So, ang analysis of the abuse of power sa El Filibusterismo is ito ang bahagi ng El Filibusterismo na nagpapakita kung paano ginagamit ng mga nasa kapangyarihan ang kanilang posisyon para sa pansariling interes. So there are three leads to several consequences. Number one is widening social inequality. The rich and powerful maintain their control, while the poor and marginalized suffer under unjust policies. So ang ibig sabihin nito is, ito yung mga dahilan sa pag-abuso ng kapangyarihan. So mas lalong lumalalim ang agwat sa pagitan ng mga mayayaman tsaka sa mahihirap. At pinapanatili ng mayayaman at makapangyarihan ang kanilang katayuan, habang ang mga mahihirap naman is mas lalo silang naghihirap dahil sa mga di makatarungang batas o patakaran. Number 2, suppression of freedom. Those who question or resist the system are silenced through imprisonment or exile, as seen in Basilio's wrongful arrest. Ang ibig sabihin naman nito is, ipinapakita sa El Filibusterismo kung paano pinapatahimik ang mga taong kumakalaban o nagtatanong tungkol sa maling sistema. Sa halip na pakinggan sila, pinaparusahan sila sa pamamagitan ng pagkakulong o pagpapatapon. Ang halimbawa nito is si Basilio. Siya ay naresto kahit siya ay walang kasalanan. So, isa itong malinaw na halimbawa sa pagsikil sa kalayaan. And last but not the least is the loss of hope and radicalization. The continued oppression leads individuals like Simone to abandon peaceful reform and resort to violent means. So, dahil sa tuloy-tuloy na pang-api at kawalang katarungan, nawawalan ng pag-asa ang mga tao sa mapayapang paraan ng pagbabago. Kaya tulad ni Simon, imbis na ipaglaban niya ang reforma sa maayos na paraan, pinili niyang gumamit ng dahas. Ipinapakita nito na kapag sobra na ang pang-aapi, pwedeng mapilitan ang mga tao na lumaban sa marahas na paraan.
Section 3. Major themes. Reform, Revolution, and Education. Reform. The novel initially presents the idea of reform as a viable path to change. As seen in the character of Crisostomo Ibarra's initial attempts to improve his community through education and infrastructure. However, the novel quickly reveals the limitations of reform, as the Spanish colonial government is shown to be unwilling to address the underlying issues of corruption and oppression, leading to a sense of disillusionment with the reformist approach. Sa nobelang ito ng El Filibusterismo, ipinakita sa simula na ang reforma o pagbabago sa mapayapang paraan ay maaaring maging solusyon sa mga problema ng bayan. May kita ito sa karakter ni Crisostomo Ibarra na ngayon ay si Simon, na noong una ay sinubukan pagandahin ang kanyang komunidad sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon at pagpapatayo ng mga infrastruktura tulad ng paaralan. Pero habang umuusad ang kwento, ipinakita ng nobela na hindi sapat ang reforma dahil ang pamahalaang Kastila ay bulag at walang intensyong ayusin ang tunay na ugat ng problema, katiwalian at pang-aabuso. Dahil dito, nadama ang mga tauhan sa nobela at ng mga Pilipino ang pagkawala ng pag-asa sa mabuting paraan ng pagbabago. Rizal perspective. Rizal's message is that reform should come above and that the people should not be forced to launch an armed rebellion, as he thought that reforms should be successful. Para naman kay Jose Rizal, ang reforma ay dapat manggaling sa mga nakakataas o ang may mga kapangyarihan. Hindi dapat ang mga tao mismo ang gumamit ng dahas o paghihimagsik para lamang makamtan ang pagbabago. Naniniwala siya na ang tunay na reforma ay magiging matagumpay kung ito ay kusang ibibigay ng mga nasa kapangyarihan. Ayaw ni Rizal sa armadong revolusyon dahil alam niya ang magiging kapalit nito, dugo at buhay at higit pang pagdurusa ng mga Pilipino. Revolution. Simon's action. Simon, a wealthy jewelry and the protagonist of El Filibusterismo, embodies the revolutionary impulse seeking to overthrow the Spanish colonial government through violence, chaos. About naman sa revolusyon dito sa El Filibusterismo, ang karakter naman dito ni Simon ay isang mayaman na alahero na lihim pa lang si Crisostomo Ibarra. Ay sumisimbolo sa ideya ng revolusyon. Pagkatapos ng kabiguan ng kanyang mga makataong layunin sa Noli Me Tangere, inilinan ni Simon ang landas ng karahasan at kaguluhan upang mapawagsakin ang pamahalaang kolonyal ng mga Kastila. Ginamit niya ang kanyang yaman at impluwensya upang maghasik ng galit, pag-aaway at pagdurusa ng mga pinuno ng lipunan, sa pag-asang mag-aalab ang damdamin ng mga Pilipino at sila mismo ang maghihimagsik. Consequence of violence. Rizal uses Simon's action to illustrate the destructive consequences of revolution and the dangers of seeking revenge, highlighting the suffering and unintended consequences of violence. Ngunit sa pamamagitan ng mga kilos ni Simon, ipinapakita ni Rizal ang mapanirang bunga ng marahas na revolusyon. Sa halip na makamit ang inaasam na kalayaan at hustisya, ang kanyang mga plano ay nagdulot ng mas matinding pagdurusa, kamatayan ng inosente at higit pang kaguluhan. Hindi naging madali o malinis ang paghihimagsik, bagkus maraming hindi inaasang sakripisyo ang nadamay. Itinampok din dito ni Rizal ang isang babala kapag ang revolusyon ay pinatungan ng puot at paghihiganti, nagbubunga ito ng kapahamakan at pagkawala, hindi ng tunay na pagbabago. Rizal's message is clear. Violence only leads to more suffering, and that forgiveness and peaceful means represent the sole path to genuine societal transformation. Sa mensahe naman dito ni Rizal, malinaw naman na ang karahasan ay hindi solusyon sa problema ng bayan. Ang paghihiganti, kahit na tila makatarungan sa una, ay hindi nagdadala ng tunay na kalayaan o katarungan. Sa halip, ang kapatawaran, edukasyon at mapayapang paraan ang siyang tanging landas tungo sa tunay at pangmatagalang pagbabago sa lipunan. Education. The novel emphasized the importance of education as a tool for social change and national progress. As seen in the characters' pursuit of knowledge and their desire to uplift their communities, Rizal highlights the need of education, enlightenment, and dialogue as the path to genuine societal transformation rather than relying on violence of revenge. Education. The novel emphasized the importance of education as a tool for social change and national progress, as seen in the characters' pursuit of knowledge and their desire to uplift their communities. Rizal highlights the need of education, enlightenment, and dialogue as the path to genuine societal transformation rather than relying on violence or revenge. Ito naman sa education, inuulit at pinapatibay ng nobela ang kahalagahan ng edukasyon. Para kay Rizal, ang pagpapalawak ng kaalaman at kamalayan ang pinakamabisang paraan upang mapalaya ang bayan mula sa pagkakaalipin. Hindi sapat ang armas. Ang tunay na kalayaan ay makakamtan lamang kung ang bawat Pilipino ay malawak na pag-iisip o may malawak na pag-iisip, matatag na moralidad at pagmamalasakit sa bayan. Makikita ito sa mga tauhan tulad ni na Isagani at mga kasapi ng kilosang estudyante na naniniwala ang pag-aaral, hindi baril, ang tunay na sandata ng bayan. Ibabandila ng nobela ang diwa ng pagninilay, pag-uusap at edukasyon bilang pundasyon ng pambansang pagbabago. Rizal's message. Rizal's portrayal of Simon's highlights the consequences of seeking revenge and the importance of forgiveness and peaceful means, as well as the potential pitfalls of violent uprising. Ito naman sa mensahe ni Rizal, Sa huli na pagkatao ni Simon at sa kanyang pagbagsak, ipinapakita ni Rizal ang kapahamakan ng paghihiganti at marahas na pag-aalsa, at binibigyang diin ang kabanalan ng kapatawaran, pag-aaral, at mapayapang pagbabago bilang tunay na daan tungo sa pag-unlad at pag-angat ng bayan. Discussion of failures of reform movements. First, the Spanish high officials in Spain were too busy with their own problems to listen to the collective voice of reformists. Second, the reformists in Spain and in the Philippines did not have the necessary financial means with which to make their campaign effective. Funds were particularly difficult to get because most of the patriotic Filipinos had no money to finance such as big projects. Third, the reformists themselves were not united. There were jealousies among them. In El Filibusterismo, Rizal explored the theme of revolution through the character of Simon, who, driven by Vigian's attempts to incite a violent uprising against the Spanish colonial government, ultimately highlighting the futility of such actions and the importance of peaceful reform. Simon's path to revolution. Simon, initially a symbol of Filipino frustration and anger under Spanish rule, becomes a catalyst for revolution, planning a violent uprising to overthrow the colonial government. Si Simon ay hindi ang dating naniniwala na mapayapang reforma, sa halip naging siya ay gatilyo ng revolusyon. Gumagamit ng paglilinlang pag-udyok sa mga tao karahasan upang ilunsad ang isang pag-aaklas, dala ng kanyang personal na poot at pagkadismaya. Naniniwala siya na nasa pamamagitan lamang ng dahas magigising ang bayan at makakamit ang kalayaan. The futility of violent rebellion. Rizal uses Simon's tragic fate and the failed revolution to underscore the high cost and futility of resorting to violence as means of achieving challenge. Emphasis on peaceful reform. While Simon's actions highlight the injustices of the colonial system, Rizal's narrative also emphasized the importance of education, enlightenment, and constructive dialogue as instrument for societal change. Dito sa futility of violence and rebellion, subalit ipinakita ni Rizal sa pamamagitan ng trahedya ng karakter ni Simon ang marahas na revolusyon ay hindi laging nagbubunga ng inaasam na kalayaan. Nabigo ang plano ni Simon at nauwi siya sa pagkamatay, puno ng pagsisisi at kawalan ng pag-asa. Dito, binibigyang diin ni Rizal ang matinding kabayaran ng karahasan, hindi lamang buhay ang nawawala, kundi pati ang dangal at kinabukasan ng bayan. Itinatampok niya ang katotohanan ng hindi sa dugo at paghihiganti mabubuo ang tunay na pagbabago. Dito naman sa emphasis on peaceful reform, habang isinasalaysay ang kawalang saysay ng paghihiganti ni Simon, mariling inuulit ni Rizal sa edukasyon, kaliwanagan at makabuluhang pag-uusap ang mga tunay na sandata ng isang banyang naghahangad ng kalayaan. Hindi niya itinatanggi ang mga kasamaan ng kolonyalismo. Ngunit, naniniwala siya na ang matatag at mahinahong pagpapanday sa kamalayan ng tao ang mas makapangyarihang paraan para sa pag-aangat ng bayan. Themes of colonialism and national identity. The novel explores how colonialism creates a shared sense of national and cultural identity even as it tries to suppress it. With characters like Isagani, Father Florentino, and Simons demonstrating the struggle of freedom and self-definition. Dito naman sa themes of colonialism and national identity, ipinapakita rin ng nobela kung paano, sa kabila ng pagsisikap ng mananakop na wasakin ang kultura at dangal ng mga Pilipino, nagkaroon pa rin ng mas malalim na pagkamalay sa sarili ang mga tao. Ang mga karakter tulad ni Isagani, Padre Florentino at pati na rin si Simon ay sumasalamin sa pakikibaka ng bawat Pilipino sa pagitan ng pagiging kolonya at pagbuo ng sariling pagkakakilanlan. Education as a path of freedom. To freedom. The novel portrays education as a path to freedom and empowerment, highlighting its importance in the struggle against oppression and for national liberation. Ito naman sa education as a path to freedom, hindi lamang itinuturing ni Rizal ang edukasyon bilang isang personal na tagumpay kundi bilang isang pambansang tungkulin. Sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon, mapapalaya ang isipan, mapapalakas ang bayan, at maaabot ang tunay na paglaya mula sa tanikala ng kolonyal na pananakop. Sa nobelang ito, ang pagnanais ng mga kabataan na magkaroon ng sariling paaralan ay sumasalamin sa mas malawak na adhikain ng sambayanan, ang maging malaya hindi lamang sa pisikal kundi lalo na sa pag-iisip. Analysis of the role of education. Rizal explores both the positive and negative aspect of education, showing how it can be a tool for empowerment but also for oppression. Positive aspect of education in El Filibusterismo. A path to enlightenment and reform. Education is depicted as a means for Filipinos to uplift themselves from ignorance and oppression. Characters like Basilio represent the hope that education can lead to personal and societal progress. Rizal believed that knowledge and critical thinking were essential for country's liberation. Dito, ipinapakita ni Rizal na ang edukasyon ay isa lamang makapangyarihang paraan upang maiahon ang mga Pilipino mula sa kamangmangan at pagkaalipin. Isang mabuting halimbawa nito ay si Basilio, na sa kabila ng matinding hirap at pagsubok ng kanyang buhay ay nagpatuloy sa pag-aaral. Ipinapakita sa kanyang karakter na ang pag-asa na sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon. Maaaring umangat ang Pilipino hindi lamang para sa kanyang sarili kundi para rin sa kanyang bayan. Naniniwala si Rizal na ang kaalaman at kritikal na pag-iisip ang magiging susi upang magbago ang kalagayan ng bansa. A tool for nationalism. Some students in the novel like Isagani advocate for reforms in the educational system, seeing it as a way to empower Filipinos. They fight for a school that teaches Spanish, which they believe will give Filipinos a stronger voice in society. Ito naman ipinapakita rin ng nobela na ang edukasyon ay maaaring magpalakas sa diwang makabayan. Ang mga estudyante tulad ni Isagani ay nagsusulong ng reforma sa sistema ng edukasyon. Layunin nilang magtatag ng isang paaralan kung saan ang mga Pilipino ay matututo sa wikang Kastila. Para sa kanila, ang pagkatuto ng wika ng mananakop ay hindi pagsuko, kundi isang paraan upang magkaroon ng boses sa lipunan. Upang maipaglaban ang karapatan ng mga Pilipino sa isang wika na nauunawaan ng mga nasa kapangyarihan. Intellectual awakening. The novel suggests that education, when properly used, can lead to an intellectual awakening that challenges colonial rule. Simon, though advocating violence, represents a different kind of awakening, one that questions the system but seeks change through radical means. Sa El Filibusterismo, ipinapahiwatig ni Rizal na ang tamang edukasyon ay nagdudulot ng intellectual awakening o paggising ng diwa. Ang edukasyon ay hindi lamang simpleng kaalaman sa pagbasa o pagsulat kundi isang pagkamalay at nagtatanong, umaalma at naghahangad ng makatarungang pagbabago. Bagamat si Simon ay kumakatawan na isang marahas na anyo ng paggising na humantong sa pag-aalsa, pinapakita rin ng nobela na ang pagmulat ng kaisipan, anuman ang anyo nito, ay isang natural na bunga ng tunay na edukasyon. Sa kabilang banda, kung ang edukasyon ay ginagamit lamang upang pasunurin at pigilan ang tao, ito rin ay nagiging kasangkapan ng paglilinlang at kontrol. Ngayon naman ay tatakot tayo sa negative aspect of education ng El Filibusterismo. Education as a tool for colonial oppression. The Spanish authorities use education to maintain control over Filipinos. Schools are designed to indoctrinate rather than enlighten, ensuring that students remain submissive. The curriculum is outdated, and access to quality education is limited to the elite. Sa El Filibusterismo, ipinapakita ni Rizal na ang edukasyon noong panahon ng Kastila ay hindi tunay na nakalaan upang palayain ang isipan ng mga Pilipino. Sa halip, ito ay ginagamit bilang instrumento upang mapanatili ang kolonyal na kontrol. Layunin ng mga Kastila na pasunurin at paamuin ang mga Pilipino. Kaya't ang mga paaralan ay naglalayon lamang na itanim ang ideya ng pagsunod at hindi ng kalayaan o kritikal na pag-iisip. Ang kurikulum ay luma at makitid, at ang tunay na dekalidad na edukasyon ay nakaalaan lamang sa mga anak ng mayayaman o sa mga may koneksyon sa mga kapangyarihan. Sa ganitong paraan, nananatiling sunod-sunurad ang mga Pilipino sa pamahalaang kolonyal at hindi nila lubos na nauunawaan ang kanilang sariling karapatan o kakayahang lumaya. Corruption and hypocrisy in the educational system. The novel exposes the flaws in the colonial educational system, where favoritism and bribery determine success. Professors, like those in the university, are more concerned with maintaining their power than truly educating students. Dito, binunyag din ni Rizal ang bulok na kalakaran ng mga paaralan at universidad ng panahong iyon. Sa halip na talagang magturo ng karunungan, maraming guro at propesor ang mga pinahalagahan ang kapangyarihan, koneksyon at suhol. Sa nobela, makikita na hindi tunay na katalinuhan ang batayan ng tagumpay, kundi kung sino ang may kilala o kung sino ang kayang magbigay ng suhol. Ang mga guro ay mapagkunwari, ipinapakita lamang na sila'y may malasakit sa edukasyon, ngunit sa likod nito ay pagtatanggol sa kanilang sariling interes at kapangyarihan. Dahil dito, nasisira ang tiwala ng mga estudyante sa sistema at lalong pinapaalala ang katiwalian sa lipunan. False sense of superiority. Some educated Filipinos, instead of using their knowledge to help their fellow countrymen, become arrogant and disconnected from the struggle of the masses. This creates division rather than unity in the fight for independence. Sa pangmalaking problema na tinalakay sa nobela ay ang epekto ng muling uri ng edukasyon. Ang ilang Pilipino nakatanggap ng edukasyon ay nagiging mapagmataas at nakakalimot sa tunay na kalagayan ng kanilang kapwa. Sa halip na gamitin ang kanilang kaalaman upang tumulong sa pagpapalaya ng bayan, ginagamit nila ito upang ibukod ang kanilang sarili at ipakita ang kanilang kataasan sa mga hindi nakapag-aral. Nagdudulot ito ng hati sa lipunan at Pinahihina ang pagkakaisa na sana'y kailangan upang makamit ang tunay na kalayaan. Sa halip na maging tulay ang pagbabago, ang maling paggamit ng edukasyon ay naging sanhi ng pagkawatak-watak.
Let's proceed to section 4. The major themes are religion, hypocrisy, and social ills. The novel El Filibusterismo is a scathing critic of the religious abuses, hypocrisy, and social ills prevalent in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. Critique of the Catholic Church in El Filibusterismo is a powerful commentary on the need for reform and the importance of promoting critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and social justice. Social commentary. Critics of the friars. Rizal exposes the corruption, greed, and abuse of power by the Spanish friars who were supposed to be spiritual leaders. So instead of teaching and preaching about religion and kung ano yung mga magpapalakas ng mga faith nila, mas inuuna nila yung mga sarili nilang kagustuhan at kung ano yung magpapayaman o magpapaangat sa kanila. Hypocrisy. The novel portrays the friars as hypocrites who preach one thing but practice another, using their power to exploit and oppress the people. So, nagpipreach sila sa mga tao na kung ano yung mga tama at maling gawin, pero maging sa sarili nila, hindi naman talaga nila alam kung ano yung tama at mali. Religious commentary. Rizal questions the rigid dogma and superstition perpetuated by the Catholic Church, which he saw as hindering progress and critical thinking. The novel highlights the Church's abuse of power, using its influence to maintain control over the population and suppress dissent. So, nakita ni Rizal na yung mga pamahiin na patuloy pinapaniwalaan sa church is nagiging hadlang siya sa pag-iisip ng mga tao kasi iba yung natututunan nila. Next is abuse of power. Ayun nga, ginagamit nila yung kapangyarihan nila to influence or mapaniwala yung mga tao na sila lang dapat ang sundin para mas makontrol nila yung mga nakapaligid. And gusto nila na matigil o mawala yung mga hindi sumusunod sa kanila kasi ayaw nilang may humahadlang sa pagkontrol nila sa mga tao. Now, let's proceed to corruption and materialism. Wealth and power. Rizal portrays the church as overly concerned with accumulating wealth and power, rather than serving the spiritual needs of the people. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, importante sa kanila yung kapangyarihan nila. So, instead na mag-serve sa mga tao para mabigay nila yung mga spiritual na pangangailangan nila, mas inuuna pa nila na paangatin yung sarili nila. Next naman is simony and nepotism. The novel highlights the corrupt practices of simony and nepotism. So, nagba-buy and sell sila. So, pinagkakitaan nila yung church, which is hindi naman tamang gawing business ang pagtitinda ng mga church office. And sa nepotism naman, is in favor sila sa family member. So, for example, nangangailangan yung church ng staff. Imbes na maghanap sila ng suitable for the job or nang mag-a-apply, is kukuha na lang o magtatawag na lang sila ng relative nila para bigyan ng posisyon sa loob ng simbahan. Hypocrisy and moral decay. Moral double standards. Rizal critiques the church's double standards, where clergy are exempt from punishment for their wrongdoings, while laity are held to a stricter moral code. So yun nga, yung mga formal leaders, hindi sila napaparusahan sa mga pagkakamali nila. Pero sa mga karaniwang tao naman, sobrang parusa naman ang natatanggap nila kahit hindi ganun kabigat yung nagawa nila. Kasi nga, mas istrikto sila sa kanila. Next, immorality and debauchery. The novel portrays some clergy as engaging in immoral and debauched behavior, such as drunkenness, gambling, and womanizing. So, instead na sila yung mag-lead sa mga tao na gumawa ng mabuti at umiwas sa mga kasalanan, mismong sila naman na yung gumagawa ng kahalayan. Next, oppression and control. Suppression of free thought. Rizal argues that the church suppresses free thought and intellectual curiosity, instead promoting blind obedience and superstitions. So, ayaw nila ng matanong. Gusto nila sumusunod lang yung tao sa gusto nila. Kaya prinomote nila yung blind obedience and superstition. So parang pinapaniwala na lang nila yung mga tao sa mga pamahiin nila, ganun, para sumunod kahit na hindi naman sigurado yung mga tao kung tama pa ba o mali yung inuutos sa kanila. Next, collusion with colonial authorities. The novel highlights the church's collusion with the Spanish colonial authorities, perpetuating the oppression and exploitation of the Filipino people. So, nakiisa sila o nakipagsunduan sila sa mga Spanish authorities para mas mapadali na lang sa kanila yung paggamit o pagpapahirap sa mga Filipinos. Now, let's proceed to critique of Catholic dogma. Questioning of church teachings. Rizal's novel questions certain church teachings, such as concept of original sin and authority of the Pope, and promoting critical thinking. The novel encourages critical thinking and intellectual inquiry rather than blind acceptance of church dogma. So sa novel nga, in-encourage talaga ni Rizal yung critical thinking and intellectual inquiry kasi gusto niyang mamulat sa katotohanan yung mga tao. Ayaw niyang nagbubulag-bulagan na lang sila at tanggapin na lang yung mga sinasabi. Portrayal of clergy. Negative portrayal of friars. Rizal portrays some friars as cruel, corrupt, and abusive, highlighting their role in perpetuating oppression and injustice. While positive portrayal of secular priests, in contrast, the novel portrays secular priests as more compassionate, educated, and committed to social justice. And this illustrates Rizal's critique of the church's role in the Philippines, where some religious figures used their position for personal gain and oppressed the people they were supposed to serve. Like Padre Camora, he epitomized the abuse of power and moral corruption. His character is marked by his lustful desire and his exploitation of his position to take advantage of women, most tragically with Julie. This directly contradicts the vows of celibacy and the moral teachings of the church. Moving on to the general behavior of many friars. Rizal depicts many friars as prioritizing personal gain and political control over their religious duties and the people's spiritual needs. This is a large hypocritical stance because they are supposed to be shepherds of the people, and instead, they are using the people for their own personal gain. Next is the obstruction of education. The friars' opposition of Filipino education is hypocritical. While they claim to guide the people, they actually keep them in ignorance, fearing that education would challenge their authority. This contradicts the church's role as a force for good. So, pinapalabas noon ng mga praile na ginaguide nila yung mga Filipinos, which is a lie kasi nilalayo talaga nila sa edukasyon ng mga Pilipino noon. Ginagawa nilang ignorante para maging sunod-sunuran na lang sila. Now, let's proceed to social ills depicted. In essence, El Filibusterismo provides a powerful social commentary, exposing the deep-seated problems that plagued Philippine society under Spanish colonial rule, starting off with corruption and abuse of power. The novel vividly depicts the widespread corruption within the government and the church. Officials, particularly the friars, are shown abusing their position for personal gain, leading to the oppression of the Filipino people. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, na inaabuso nila yung kapangyarihan nila para lang umangat sila, para yumaman. Gaya ng corruption, ginagamit nila yung mga tao para lang umangat sila. Inaabuso nila yung kapangyarihan nila, and nagiging unfair na sila sa mga Filipinos noon dahil alam nilang may kapangyarihan sila para pasunod-sunurin na lang ang mga Filipino. Next, social inequality. Rizal emphasizes the deep inequality between privileged Spanish colonizers and the poor Filipino population, seen in disparities in land ownership, education, and access to justice. Sobrang unfair talaga sa mga Filipinos noon, especially sa mga naghihirap na mga Filipinos, 'di ba? Naghihirap na sila, mas pinapahirapan pa sila. Na kahit papatayin sila ng mga Espanyol sa daan, wala silang hustisyang makakamit. Next naman is oppression and injustice. The novel depicts Filipino as victims of oppression, with arbitrary arrests, unfair trades, and the suppression of basic rights by colonial authorities. And gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina is injustice talaga and unfair talaga yung ginawa nila kasi kahit yung basic human rights nila is tinanggal and even yung pag-arrest sa kanila is by choice na lang ng mga authorities kahit na wala ka namang ginawang masama. Kapag natipuhan ka nila is by choice na lang na huhuliin ka nila. So, unfair talaga siya kasi gumagawa na lang sila ng mga sarili nilang batas para lang mapabagsak yung mga Filipinos. Next is lack of education. Rizal highlights education as a key to liberation, while showing how the colonial system deliberately prevented Filipinos from learning, keeping them ignorant and submissive. So, pinipigilan ng mga colonizers yung mga Filipino matuto o mag-aral kasi alam nila na mahalaga ang edukasyon. Siyempre, pag natuto yung mga Filipinos, hindi na lang ganun kadali para sa mga Espanyol na gawing sunod-sunuran yung mga Filipino. Next is religious hypocrisy. The novel exposes the hypocrisy of some clergy members whose actions contradict the religious teachings, undermining the church's moral authority and contributing to social decay. Gaya nga ng nasabi ko kanina, na yung mga actions ng mga pare is hindi sumasang-ayon sa mga tinuturo nila about sa religions. Colonial mentality. Rizal highlights the social issue of colonial mentality, portrayed by characters who aspire to be like the Spanish colonizers and look down on their fellow Filipinos. Next is exploitation of the weak. The novel shows how people in power exploit the weak for personal gain. So, gumagamit pa sila ng ibang tao, ginagamit nila yung mga walang kapangyarihan para lang mag-gain at mag-benefit sila. Racism and discrimination. Rizal tackles the racist attitudes of the Spanish colonizers towards the indigenous population. So, kapag nalaman nila na Filipino yung isang tao, pinapahirapan nila, minamaliit. Lastly, poverty and exploitation. Rizal depicts the grinding poverty and exploitation faced by the Filipino people under Spanish rule. Dito naman inulat ni Rizal kung paano sila ginamit ng mga Espanyol, kung ano yung hirap na pinadanas ng mga Espanyol sa kanila noon.
So let us proceed now here sa section 5. It is the plot summary of chapters 1 to 10. So sa chapter 1, ito po yung mga nangyari. On the upper deck, the novel begins aboard the steamship Tabu, which is traveling along the Pasig River. The passengers include government officials, friars, and wealthy individuals on the upper deck, while the poor Indians are crammed below. So, here daw po is yung mga wealthy individuals, sila daw po yung mga nasa upper deck, while the poor or yung mga Indians daw po, sila yung mga nasa baba naman po. So, among the passengers are Simon, he is a mysterious and wealthy jeweler, and Basilio, a young medical student, and Don Custodio, he is a Spanish official. Simon later revealed as Crisostomo Ibarra in disguise. Si Simon daw po, siya po si Crisostomo Ibarra na nagpapanggap lang dahil gusto niyang maka-seek ng revenge against sa mga Spanish rule. So that is the plot summary of chapter 1. So let's proceed now here sa chapter 2. So for the chapter 2, below deck down in the lower deck, the native passengers discuss their frustrations with Spanish rule. Basilio is introduced as a diligent student who has worked hard since escaping from persecution in Noli Me Tangere. The contrast between the upper and lower decks symbolizes the deep social divide in the Philippines. So that is the chapter 2. For the chapter 3,
Legends and Memories. Doña Victorina, a pretentious Spanish mestiza, expressed her disdain for Filipinos. So, si Doña Victorina po is a social climber. Linulok down niya po yung mga Filipinos. Meanwhile, Ben Saib is a journalist. He tries to impress others with his flawed knowledge. Their conversation turns to the legends of San Nicolas and how he turned crocodiles into a stone. So, Simon remains silent but carefully observes the people around him. So, for the chapter 4, Cabezang Tales is a hard-working farmer. His land was unjustly taken by the friars, and despite trying to fight legally, natalo daw po siya. Sa pagkatalo niyang yon, his family suffers from bandit attacks and in desperations. So, dahil daw po sa nangyaring ganon, naging rebel leader daw po siya. So, for the chapter 5,
A Cochero's Story of Cochero. So, ito naman po yung story ni Cochero or coachman. Coachman is punished for not having the proper documentation for his horse and carriage. His experience highlights the cruelty of Spanish authorities and their harsh treatment of the Filipinos. So, dito na po pumapasok yung pagiging bad or harsh treatment ng mga Spanish authorities sa ating mga Pilipino noong taon ni La Rizal. So, for the chapter 6, Basilio. Basilio visits the forest where he buried his mother, Sisa, 13 years ago. He prays and reflects on the past, recalling how he survived after fleeing persecution in Noli Me Tangere. So, after 13 years, Basilio is naging medical student siya, and he is hoping for a better future. So, that is the chapter 6. So, for the chapter 7, Simon. Simon meets Basilio and offers him an opportunity to join his revolutionary cause. However, Basilio refuses, preferring to focus on his studies rather than violent rebellion. So, si Simon, inoffer niya kay Basilio kung gusto niya bang mag-join doon sa revolutionary cause. Pero si Basilio, tumanggi siya kasi gusto niyang mag-focus sa studies niya rather than sa mga violent rebellion. Si Simon disappointed. Leave His Skin highlights their opposing views on change education versus revolution. So that is what happened in chapter 7. Chapter 8, it is a Christmas. This chapter contrasts the Christmas celebration of the rich and poor. Wealthy families enjoy feasts. The suffering of the lower class is emphasized also, showing the inequality under Spanish rule. So, chapter 9, pilgrimage to Antipolo. People from all walks of life visit Antipolo to pray. The journey reveals the superstition and religious devotion of Filipinos, as well as the hypocrisy of some church officials. So that is what happened in chapter 9. So for the chapter 10, the last chapter of section 5, wealth and poverty. This chapter further explores the theme of social inequality. The rich indulge in luxury while the poor struggles to survive. So dito na pumapasok na yung mga wealthy lang ang mga parang nakakapag-enjoy or nakakaluwag-luwag, nakakapag-survive noong panahon nila, while the poor one is struggle to survive dahil sa mga poverty na nangyari doon. So that is the section 5. So, sa key events and character introductions. So, si Simon siya si Crisostemo Ibarra. Siya isang wealthy jeweler seeking for revenge. And Basilio, he is a medical student who refuses to join Simeon's rebellion. Cabezang Tales, isa siyang farmer na naging rebel due to Spanish oppression. Doña Victorina, isang social climber na linulooks down niya yung mga Filipinos. And Bainzab,
Isa siyang journalist na nag-i-spread ng misleading information. Parang chismosa naman ito, ganon. Spanish officials and friars represents the oppressive colonial system.
Section 6. C. Basilio. Analysis. This chapter explores themes of memory, familial devotion, and the pursuit of personal advancement amidst societal challenges. Basilio's annual visit to his mother's grave signify his enduring filial piety and the lasting impact of past traumas on his present life. Symbolism. The palete tree under which Sisa and Elias are buried symbolize the intertwining of personal and national histories. It serves as a physical reminder of the sacrifices made by individuals in the broader struggle against oppression. Motivation. Basilio is driven by a desire to honor his mother's memory and to uplift his status through education. His commitment to his studies and his plans to marry Julie reflect his aspiration for a stable and respectable future, contrasting with the past he seeks to reconcile. In her motivation, Basilio's motivations extend beyond honoring his mother's memory. His dedication to his studies reflect his determination to break free from the social constraints imposed by colonial society. Through education, he aims to secure a better future not only for himself but also for future generations. His love for Julie symbolized his longing for a stable and loving family, something he was deprived of due to his tragic past. Furthermore, Vasilio's refusal to join Simon's violent revolution reveals his belief in achieving change through peaceful and intellectual means, showing his hope for a reformed society rather than one born out of bloodshed. Also, Basilio embodies the hope for a brighter future despite the bleakness of colonial oppression. His pursuit of education symbolizes the potential of the youth to be agents of change. Unlike Simon, as I said earlier, whose approach is fluid by despair and violence. Also, Basilio represents a more hopeful and constructive form of resistance. His determination to become a doctor symbolizes his desire to heal both individuals and society. Through his character, Rizal conveys the message that genuine and lasting progress can be achieved through education, compassion, and perseverance. Roles. In this chapter, Basilio served as a bridge between the past and the present, embodying the potential for personal growth despite historical justice. His character represents the hope for societal progress through individual perseverance and education. So, throughout the chapter, Basilio's character undergoes significant growth, highlighting his maturity and wisdom. From a grief-stricken orphan, he transformed into a responsible and compassionate young man. Driven by a desire to improve society, his dedication to his studies and his refusal to succumb to hatred reflects his emotional strength. Despite the suffering he channels his pain into a commitment to knowledge and service. Okay, symbolism. Basilio's secret visit to the gravesite underscore the hidden burdens carried by those who have suffered under the colonial rule. The act of tending to his mother's grave in solitude reflects the personal struggles that underpin the collective national identity.
So in here, in symbolism, Basilio's secret visit to his mother's grave carry a deeper symbolic meaning. The grave represents not only his personal grief, but also the suffering of the oppressed under colonialism. The solitude in which he tends to the grave symbolize the isolation and emotion burden carried by those who have lost loved ones due to injustice. The balete tree under which Sisa and Elias are buried symbolize the enduring presence of the past in the fight for freedom. The tree roots signify the deep-seated pain and sacrifice that fuel the revolution. Additionally, Basilio's silence while grieving reflects the Filipino people quiet endurance amid colonial oppression.
Section 8. Plot Summary, Chapters 31 to 39 and Epilogue. Chapter 31. The chapter opens with the high official arguing for the release of Basilio, a medical student imprisoned for possessing prohibited books. The Captain General, however, insists on maintaining authority through fear, demonstrating the colonial government's cruelty. The high official resigns in disgust, believing that Spain's honor is at stake due to its exploitation of the Filipinos. Chapter 32. This chapter reflects on the aftermath of the Pasquina death incident, where students face severe repercussions for their protest against the colonial government. Many students are expelled or leave Manila while Basilio remains in prison, further radicalized by the injustices he witnessed. Chapters 33 to 35. Simon, the disguised Ibarra, plans to use a wedding celebration for a deadly attack against the Spanish elite. He constructs a bomb disguised as an ornate lamp, intending to detonate it during the wedding of Juanito Pelaez and Paulita Gomez. Basilio, conflicted yet drawn to revenge. He is involved in the plan but struggles with the morality of the violence. As the wedding proceeds, the tension builds, with guests unaware of the impending doom. Chapter 36. Ben Saib, a journalist, attempts to cover the wedding, but he is more concerned with spinning the narrative to favor the colonial authorities. This chapter highlights the corrupt media landscape that prioritizes the interests of the powerful over truth. Chapter 37. As the wedding festivities unfold, the bomb is revealed to be hidden in the lamp. Basilio, now fully aware of the potential massacre, warns Isagani, who is heartbroken over Paulita's engagement to Juanito. In a moment of desperation, Isagani rushes into the party and throws the lamp into the river just before it explodes, thwarting Simon's plan. Chapter 38. In the aftermath of the failed bombing, chaos happened as the authorities scramble to cover up the incident. Simon's identity as a revolutionary is exposed, and he becomes a fugitive. The chapter emphasizes the brutal response of the colonial government, which indiscriminately punishes innocent Filipinos. Chapter 39. Simon seeks refuge with Padre Florentino, revealing his true identity as Ibarra and recounting his tragic journey. He expresses despair over his failed plans for revolution and the sufferings of his people. Padre Florentino explains that true liberation cannot be achieved through violence and corruption. It requires moral integrity and virtue. In the final act of despair, Simon takes poison rather than face capture. Padre Florentino, mourning the loss of hope and the potential for a better future, discards Simon's wealth into the sea, symbolizing the rejection of greed and the need for a more virtuous path to freedom. Lastly, the epilogue. The epilogue reflects on the broader implications of Simon's tragic end. It underscores the theme of sacrifice, the quest for justice, and the moral dilemmas faced by those fighting for their country. Rizal leaves readers with a sad message about the importance of virtue in the struggle for freedom, suggesting that without it, the cycle of oppression will continue, and the oppressed may become oppressors themselves.
Section 9. Character Analysis of Simon, Basilio, and Isagani. So before we start, alamin muna natin yung mga character analysis components. So ang mga components na ito ay analysis, motivations, roles, and symbolism. Ginagamit ito sa pag-examine and para mas lalo nating maintindihan kung ano nga ba ang purpose and kahalagahan ng isang character sa isang story. Number 1, Simon, or also known as Juan Crisostoma Ibarra. So, dito muna tayo sa analysis. So, dito, si Simon ay isang mysterious jeweler na gustong mag-take revenge sa Spanish colonial system dahil sa mistreatment ng mga ito sa kanila. So, dito gusto niyang i-end yung oppressive regime ng mga Spanish. So, what do we mean by oppression? So, ito yung form ng injustice wherein one group or individual is subjected to cruelty or unjust treatment dahil lang sa may power sila. Next, dumako naman tayo sa motivations. So, dito, talagang porsigido na si Simon na mag-take ng revenge. Naging self-centered din siya at pinaniwalaan niya na violence lang yung only way para makuha nila yung justice na gusto nila. So, dito gumamit siya ng mga tactics or ways para ma-achieve yung gusto niya. And dito, pumasok ang ruthless tactics. So, what do we mean by ruthless? So, eto, showing no mercy siya. Parang nagiging cruel ka and talagang determinado kang makuha yung gusto mo kahit ang kapalit nun ay masaktan mo yung mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo. Next, roles. So dito, talagang minapula ni Simon ang mga tao at mga sitwasyon para ma-achieve yung main goal niya, which is yun nga, makapag-take revenge sa Spanish colonial system. So, ano nga ba meaning ng manipula or manipulate? So dito, para siyang controlling and influencing people to get an advantage. Parang ang kinalabasan nun ginaslight niya yung mga tao para sa own benefit niya. Next is symbolism. So, Simon represents rebellion, showing that how hope or pag-asa can be turned into galit, puot, hinanakit, or anger, and revenge. Dumako naman tayo kay Basilio. So, first, analysis. So, dito, si Basilio, isa siyang hardworking medical student who believes in success through education. So, parang ang pinaniwalaan niya yung quote na, education is the key to success. Ayan. Next naman is motivations. So, dito, gusto niyang ma-improve yung buhay niya and matulungan yung country, but he avoids politics. Next, roles. So, dito, Basilio connects the old and new generations. Parang pinapakita niya dito how Filipinos under Spanish rule struggles or kung paano sila pinahirapan. Next, symbolism. So obviously, Basilio stands for progress through education and the challenges of staying hopeful. Dumako naman tayo sa last na character, which is si Isagani. Analysis. Si Isagani, isa siyang idealistic poet who dreams of a better future for our country, the Philippines. Next is motivations. So dito, naniniwala si Isagani in peaceful change. And through education din na isang way para ma-improve ang ating society. Next, roles. He opposes Simon's violent methods and plays a key role in stopping his plans. Next is symbolism. Isagani represents hope and patriotism. What do we mean by patriotism? Ito yung deep sense of love, loyalty, and devotion sa bansa.
Section 10, Character Analysis, Padre Florentino. Padre Florentino is a retired Filipino priest who serves as a moral compass in the novel. He is trusted figure offering wisdom and guidance, particularly to Simon. Impact on the story and themes. Symbols of integrity and nationalism. Unlike the corrupt friars, Padre Florentino remains devoted to his faith and people. He represents the ideal clergyman free from greed and power-hungry ambitions. File to Simon's revenge. While Simon believes in violent revolution, Padre Florentino advocates for moral and peaceful reform, arguing that true change must come from a purified, enlightened society. In the novel's climax, Simon entrusts his treasures to Padre Florentino before dying. However, the priest throws the wealth into the sea, symbolizing that a revolution fueled by greed and corruption will only bring destruction, not liberation. Paulita Gomez. Paulita Gomez is a beautiful and charming socialite, the niece of Doña Victorina. She is the love interest of Isagani but ultimately chooses to marry Juanito Palaez instead. Paulita values wealth and social status over love and ideals. By choosing Juanito, she highlights the reality that many Filipinos during the colonial period prioritized personal gain over patriotism. While Isagani is a passionate and idealistic young man, Paulita is pragmatic and materialistic. Her rejection of him symbolizes the delusionment of Filipinos who once hoped for genuine reform. Her actions reflect the preference for those who align with colonial power structures rather than those who challenge them. Other key characters and their impact. Simon, also known as Crisostomo Ibarra, the mastermind behind the revolution, he embodies vengeance and radical change. His tragic downfall emphasizes the theme that violence alone cannot bring true freedom. Isagani, an idealistic student who represents hope for future, his decision to throw away the explosive lamp meant to kill corrupt officials demonstrates that he values life over destructive rebellion. Basilio, a hard-working student who initially avoids politics but later becomes involved in the revolution. His journey reflects the struggles of the educated Filipino youth under Spanish rule. Don Custodio, Benseb, and other elites, these figures represent the corrupt colonial government, the media, and the opportunistic Filipinos who manipulate society for personal gain. Conclusion. Each character in El Filibusterismo plays a crucial role in highlighting the novel's key themes, such as corruption, social injustice, and the struggle for independence. Padre Florentino and Paulita Gomez, though different in nature, both serve as reflection of the moral and societal choices that Filipinos face under Spanish rule. Their actions help drive the novel's message that genuine progress requires wisdom, sacrifice, and true national consciousness.
The El Filibusterismo of Jose Rizal is the sequel to Noli Me Tangere. It is a powerful novel that plays a major role in Filipino history. It serves as a critique of Spanish colonial rule and a call of reform, habang pinapalalim ang diwang makabayan ng mga Pilipino. So let's start with the significance of El Filibusterismo. There are 4 significance of El Filibusterismo. Number 1 is the critique of colonialism. Through the story, Rizal exposes the abuses of the Spanish authorities tulad ng corruption, injustice, at oppression. He shows how these problems harmed Filipinos and emphasizes the need for serious change. Number 2, advocacy for reform. Hindi tahasang pag-aaklas ang panawagan ni Rizal kundi peaceful reform. He believed in the power of education, enlightenment, and open dialogue bilang key sa pagbabago ng lipunan. Number 3 is the national identity. The novel explores what it means to be Filipino under colonization, kung paano naaapektuhan ang kultura, pananampalataya, at pagkatao ng mga Pilipino. It encourages a shared sense of identity and purpose. And lastly, inspiration for revolution. Kahit hindi tahasang nananawagan ng digmaan, the El Filibusterismo and Noli Me Tangere awakened the minds of Filipinos. These novels helped ignite the spark that led to the Philippine Revolution. There are also four legacy of El Filibusterismo of Jose Rizal. Number 1 is the mandatory reading. Both novels are part of the school curriculum. Sa ganitong paraan, young Filipinos today continue to learn about their history and the sacrifices of their ancestors. Number 2 is the literary masterpiece. El Filibusterismo is not just political. It's also a work of literacy brilliance. Kasama ito sa pinakamahalagang akdang pampanitikan ng Pilipinas. Number 3 is the national hero. Through his writings and martyrdom, Rizal became the symbol of Filipino resistance. Hanggang ngayon siya ay ginugunita bilang bayani ng bayan o ang pambansang bayani ng Pilipinas. Lastly, number 4, enduring themes. Kahit tapos na ang kolonyalismo, the themes of injustice, inequality, and the fight for freedom are still relevant. Kaya ang akda ni Rizal ay timeless and powerful. El Filibusterismo serves as a powerful reminder ng mga historical injustices na dinanas ng mga Pilipino noong panahon ng pananakop ng mga Kastila. It paints a clear picture of how Filipinos were oppressed, silenced, and denied basic rights, at kung paano nila ipinaglaban ang kanilang karapatan at dignidad. Hindi lang ito basta novel, it's a symbol of resistance and awakening. Sa bawat pahina ng libro or ng nobela, Rizal calls out the corrupt system and challenges the people to open their eyes. Kaya ang epekto nito ay hindi lang sa larangan ng panitikan, kundi pati sa pagbuo ng pambansang pagkakakilanlan ng mga Pilipino. This novel reminds us that the fight for freedom and self-determination doesn't end with independence. The fight for injustice, inequality, and for freedom ay patuloy pa ring nangyayari till now.